Hi everybody, my name is Jessica and this is my channel Plant Hooker, and today we're going to talk about the Ponytail Palm or elephant's foot plant, or the Latin name Bocania recovata. I'm using my French to pronounce that because French is one of the Romance languages. It descends from Latin. So now I've had this guy since about 1.5 years, and he's currently in a 9-inch pot. Now these are not real palms. No, they're actually part of the asparagus family and are closer related to agaves than palms, because this is not a trunk. It's called a caudex. These things can store lots of water in these. They are considered to be critically endangered in their native homes. These are native to Mexico, like the subtropical / desert forest, deciduous forests is where they're like native to. And the reason why they're critically endangered in their home is, well, because of us. Due to, well, the horticulture and us constantly like taking them from the wild. I don't think there's many flowering females in the wild as there is now, and that's why that they can't really reproduce that well. But the oldest registered one is 350 years old, and he's 15 feet tall, 6 feet wide. Like the leaves are, like the whole top part here is 6 feet wide, and its caudex is 3 feet thick. Now that's a big old plant. Excuse me. It is a flowering plant. Their flowers are very similar to those of the corn plants, only instead of yellow, it'll be pink. And I believe the leaves on that oldest one there, I think mine are only maybe a foot long, while that one is like 180 inches long for its longest one. Now, I water mine roughly every 25 to 30 days. Sometimes I'll let it go longer, mostly because excuse me, sorry. I don't know why I'm coughing all of a sudden. Now, as I was saying, I'll water mine between every 25 and 30 days. Sometimes I'll let it go longer, mostly because the proper soil that these guys are supposed to be in is all-purpose, but with extra drainage. Like, you can buy a bag of all-purpose potting soil and then a bag of perlite and mix the two together to put in for him. Mine is currently in coco coir, mostly because this is a new pot, because his original pot, he was outgrowing his original pot that I bought him in, and then I put him in an 8-inch pot, and then I dropped it and I broke it. And that seems to happen to me a lot. Like I butterfingers and I drop my plants. So now he's currently in a 9-inch pot. This pot I got at Walmart. Really pretty pot. So 9-inch pot, and the soil that I had at the time was coco coir, and that's why he's in coco coir. And coco coir is a very moist retaining soil. So if you're using coco coir with your ponytail palm, you have to be careful about overwatering, because you can overwater these guys. They don't like having their feet wet. So when you want to water him and when to know to water him is when the moisture meter level is at a 1. Can handle normal humidity, likes dry air. You can mist them, like if you want to try and keep their leaves clean, but otherwise there's really no purpose in misting them. It won't hurt them. but there is no purpose in it. Fertilizer. I do fertilize this guy I believe it's every second or third watering. Second watering during the summertime, every third watering during the winter. And you can use the all-purpose fertilizer or the fertilizer that's strictly for green plants. Full sun, part shade, they can handle. I do recommend full sun because if you do keep them in like part sun, part shade, see how the new growth is lighter than the old growth? That's not because it's new growth. That's because this new growth is sunlight deficient. So he didn't get enough light because originally I had him in my west facing window here and he was hanging from a plant hanger because these guys like to eat him because they are non-toxic to cats, but these leaves are serrated and they can cut the inside they can cut the inside of your cat's mouth and like along their throat and they'll like hack it back up. So won't kill them, but they'll have like bloody mouths and bloody gums and whatnot. So I had to move him to a south-facing window. So he's right below my spider plants and beside my Majesty Palm. So the cats have been picking at him a little more than normal. Because when I got up this morning, there was a few piles of ponytail throw up. But I'll probably have to start spraying him with the vinegar water that I use on my weeping fig to keep Gwen from eating him. Clean the leaves twice a year to encourage photosynthesis. You can do it more often. I only do it twice a year because I'm misting, so I don't need to do it as often. That would be the only reason why you would miss these guys, is to clean less. They are sensitive to drafts, like they don't like cold air. These, again, because like Mexico, they prefer the heat. Preferred temperatures for these guys are between 50 and 30 degrees Celsius. And if you're in a hardiness zone 9A or more, they can go outside. But because I'm on Cape Breton, where I'm at a 5A, he can only go outside between June and September on the nice days. Another problem, like I talked about the sunlight deficient. Another problem these guys can get is gray spots. And what happens when they start getting gray spots is that's a mold. Like it's also caused by like overwatering. And Zita's making an appearance. And what happens if once you start seeing like the gray spots, I think it's a blight of some kind. Violet trite. It's a blight, like a blight fungus that they get. So and you can't like wipe it off or whatnot. All you can do to stop it is no, don't do that. All you can do to stop it is you cut above where it is and then burn that part of the leaf or compost. Well, maybe not compost it because it's a blight. Burn it. Would probably, then you can kill the fungus. Drooping leaves is another sign of overwatering. Like, they do say that is a sign of overwatering too. But because he's not really droopy, he's only, like, he's flat top because of he was hanging in the window, so he was kind of growing down to get sunlight. So now that he's below the window, like he's here, the window edge is here, so the sun's going to be coming this way. So now he can start trying to grow back up. But he still has a lot of bounce to him. Like the leaves aren't really that drooping. So drooping would be like, the whole thing would be like this. So, oh, here's Apollo. He's the guy that likes to eat this one a lot. I can't quite figure out why. So drooping leaves is another sign of overwatering. Really, they really won't show any signs of underwatering until like they're almost half dead. One thing I seen on the internet is the Codex. Like, mine looks, it doesn't look that wrinkly at all, but when it's underwatered, like that'll get really super wrinkly. So that's another way to tell when it's being underwater, because the leaves really won't show that it is. When it comes to pests, they can get mealybugs and scale and thrisp. I've dealt with thrisp with this guy. They were very hard to get rid of because they were going like right in between. Like, I can keep the leaf away. They were like going in to like this part here. That's why the leaves are all kind of peeled here. So I could get to the thrisp and insecticide them to get out of it. But it wasn't too hard. As long as I sprayed this guy every 3 to 4 days, as I remembered, then I was able to get rid of the thrisp off of him quite easily. And I have not seen any sign, yes, I love Rosita, of them since, knock on wood. So I'm quite certain I've won that battle. Now, they do get these brown tips. Now, there's different theories on why they get them. And from what I can tell, nobody is quite 100% sure exactly which one it is. One is nutrient deficient, because I've had him, like I said, I had him for 1.5 years, and I only started fertilizing him about September, October is when I started fertilizing him. So I don't think it's nutrient deficient because he had these before then. But he also, in the old soil, he had those little green balls of fertilizer, those slow release fertilizers. Another thing is underwatering, overwatering. Like, there's many reasons. You can leave them on until it becomes less aesthetically pleasing, and then you can just rip them off. This won't grow anymore, so yeah. And that's pretty much it when it comes to these guys. Like, they are a dandy first-time owner plant. Like I said, I love him quite much because ponies. I love ponies. As you can tell by some of my Instagram pictures, I always have taken pictures in front of my nice horse painting. Yeah. Oh, another way to tell when you're overwatering is the Codex around the edges, like here in the dirt, will start to turn green. And that's another form of algae growing, and that's another sign of overwatering. Another thing too, if I can get him closer so you can see, bend him over. That black spot that's like right here at the top, that's just wax. That's nothing to worry about. That's where he was originally cut to make more growth on him. You can even cut along the Codex too to encourage new growth, like on the sides. But once you do that, he won't grow from up here anymore. He'll start to grow from where you cut him, mostly because he thinks, oh, this part is dead, this is my new growth, let's put all the nutrients here. And that's why you'll see sometimes these weird wonky looking ones. Yep, but nope, pot you can find at Walmart. I don't think I paid too much for it. I do recall it being like $3 to $5, so it's not too bad. But yeah, no, dandy little plant. I got him, where did I get him from? I found him at Home Depot. Yeah, And I think now every Home Depot is different. Here on Cape Breton, our Home Depot, like the plant restock day is every Tuesday. So it might be different in your area, but on Cape Breton, it's every Tuesday. So, and for us as seasonal workers, Tuesday is check day. So that once everything is taken care of and I have like my little budget, plants. So yeah, so if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, a thumbs down is fine too. Everybody has a right to their opinion. If you really like the video, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And live long and plant on.